What's going on, YouTube? It's been a while since we've put a video out on our Mastercraft here. As you can see, we have installed a floor. This is a gator step floor. We've got our boat completely compound buffed back to the original color. All new decals. The platform is finished. We made this from scratch. Not from scratch, we used it from recycled. It's a repurposed platform from an older ski nautique. So, got the brackets all redone. Everything came out pretty good. So the purpose of this video is we are having issues with our velvet drive transmission. We keep getting what is called or referred to as a dirty neutral. It propulses forward while in neutral. Not good when you're in the water. I can't get it to do it on the trailer. It's a little strange. We're pretty sure we have some bent clutch packs inside the transmission. We did rebuild this transmission probably it's probably been 10 years since it was rebuilt. So it was rebuilt and the boat was never water tested, and all we did was install just clutch packs, the 2 reverse, and I think there's 5 forward clutches, and that's all we did. We didn't do the pump, we didn't do any of the seals other than what we had to replace to do the clutch packs, so nothing was touched other than that. So something's going on. We think it's either with the shift solenoid not engaging properly, so we got our pressure tester and we're gonna fire up the boat and see if we can figure out what's going on here. This is just your basic pressure tester. This is a Harbor Freight one. It'll work fine. It comes with a bunch of different fittings. So there is a test port on the top of the transmission, which is right here. I think it's a 12 millimeter. We're gonna pop that out, screw this in, probably put some Teflon on there, and crank it up, see if we got pressure. Should have pressure. I believe this is the neutral valley tube, so this should always have pressure even when it's in neutral. So we're going to get this up and going. What else did we do to this thing before we dive into that? I also did a high output alternator for our, what is this, 93 Windsor Ford. The factory alternator that comes in these are only a 55 amp. They don't really put out a lot of power. This is a 105 amp. This is a DB electrical. Let me know if you want to know more about this, because it's more involved than just throwing in a new alternator. If you throw in this upgraded alternator, you will probably catch your boat on fire. You gotta rip this entire wire loom apart. You can see that black with the red on there. You gotta rip this entire wire loom apart back down to the fuse block and rip all that out and upgrade your wire size. But let's throw this transmission apart. Alrighty, so we got our protection down both sides as best we could to protect that floor. We also removed our rear floor. So for our transmission, so we can do this. So pardon that line. Come on, focus. There we go. See if we can do this. So right here and right here where this is plugged in, this is your neutral reverse galley. It will always have pressure in reverse only. So if you take this back plug off here, which is your temp sensor / pressure sensor, which is a 3/8 NPT plug, I cannot get this damn thing off. I'm gonna try and walk a socket on there. I'm having a hard time getting it off without taking this pump out to the pump, or sorry, this is your pressure out, this is your pressure in, at the top of the transmission. So I'm having a hard time getting this temp sensor out without taking this apart, and I'm running out of daylight. So I think we're just gonna call it a day and leave it alone. I think I'm just gonna go ahead, start taking apart, pull packing apart, flange, slide that out of the way, start working on getting all these out, and then we're gonna jack up the transmission with a bottle jack, put the bottle jack up under on this side underneath the riser, pick the motor up, and pump it up out of the way so we can walk this transmission off. We're gonna go ahead and rebuild it in the garage. I also just noticed that this return line, pump hose, which is my fresh water, raw water line, it's got a bunch of cracks in it. So I wanted to show you guys what this would do, but I can't get this plug out without possibly breaking something, and it's getting dark, and I got to cover the boat up because of our unpredictable weather conditions in South Florida. So we're going to go ahead and start ripping this thing out. Alright, so the first thing to do to get this transmission underway is to go ahead and remove your 4 bolts from your flange. They are 9/16. Zip them off with our impact. Next thing I need to do is to separate the flange from the rear transmission. Do not stick screwdrivers in there because you can damage the flange. The best thing to do is just whack it with a hammer. Definitely coming loose. Or whack this thing enough times, it should pop off. Then you just need to start twisting it. Bump it back. You can only go back so far. There you go. That's hitting our rudder. That's all the room we got. This thing's gross. Alright, next thing to do, probably drain all this fluid out of the tranny. Anchor dipstick out. Get this damn thing off here. This piece of safety wire. Put a proper cotter pin on there. Get that out of the way. I think we're just going to take the entire trans cooler out because I want to blow all these lines out. I believe these are 5/8, which are the bell housing bolts. I think those are all 5/8. Can start walking those loose. First thing we got to do is get all the engine mount or the tranny mounts loose. But we got to get a bottle jack. I've always done it where you put a bottle jack underneath the riser and jack it up here slowly to take the pressure out and take all this apart. We're gonna actually take the bolts out of the floor. So the 2 stainless bolts here and 2 stainless bolts there. Pop those out as we raise it up, and then we will pull our transmission mounts off. We're actually going to clean those up as they are pretty nasty looking as well, and we're going to refresh everything. We're probably also going to pull off the bell housing as well, clean that up after, and clean everything up slowly. Do it right the first time. So I got our little, I use this for pumping diff fluid, so we're just going to shove this down into the fill hole, and then pump it out into our little reservoir tank that we have, and pump this baby out. Oof, that's black. That's not good. That fluid is fresh. Something's burnt. And this is why we are going to strip this entire thing down. So while we're still sitting here pumping away, this shift mechanism should not be this hard to move. It should be flowing freely. So I'm willing to bet this is what caused our problem inside the shift solenoid mechanism. Caused improper flow and warped or did whatever to our forward clutch packs. That's why we're slipping. But this should not be so hard to move. Something's going on inside, and we'll find out what after we get all this fluid out of here. So we cleaned this out as best we could with brake cleaner. That's what's left of it. Not really sure what that is. I have a feeling it's part of the clutch packs. When it got hot, melted off. That's why the fluid's so burnt. That's all the residue, which is half the battle. We know what happened, we just don't know what caused it. So we're gonna keep on digging. So it's kind of hard to see. After wiping it out with the towel, you can see all the metal shavings in the towel itself. There you go. So the entire bottom of the pan was lined with those metal shavings. So 100%, the entire transmission needs to be ripped apart. The last time it was done, we only put in forward and rear clutches. This time we're going to completely strip the entire thing down, pulling the main bearings, everything. So that is not a good sign, but it is to be expected. Alrighty. We went ahead and jacked up our engine. It's almost level. We should have enough room to wiggle that thing out of there. I did just put some cardboard under it, pick it up with a bottle jack. I found it is the easiest way to just take these bolts right out of these, because it's just a lot easier to drop those down and then try and center this bolt back and forth with a little bar or pick of some kind to align those holes than it is to try and get these bolts back in with being level. It's a pain in the ass. So I just found it's always easier to take this out. Fortunately and fortunately, this is not the first time the transmission has been removed. I'm sure it won't be the last. Hopefully it's the last, but it's a blessing because I know how to do it. I don't have to pay someone to do it. So we're going to take all these bell housing bolts loose. We're going to do them by hand. They're all 5/8, and get it done. Looks like it's going to rain, just like I said. Unpredictable Florida weather. So if it starts raining, we will see you tomorrow, and talk to you guys later. So good news, we got the tranny out of the boat. After it quit raining, we had to put up a pop-up tent and loosen up some bolts, which are the 6 bolts. 2 of them don't come out unless you take the mounts off, which is another reason why I like to take these off. Less bolts to take apart. I'm taking this completely apart in here because I'm going to clean up all this gunk and crap and just clean this thing up and make it look fresh. Some pretty nasty shit already everywhere. I don't know why this is so rusty. I'm assuming it's from moisture. The motor never got wet, so it's a mystery to me why that's wet. Regardless, it's out of the boat. Don't try and pick it up by yourself. It's probably 150 plus pounds. I don't know exactly how much it weighs, but you'll probably blow your back out trying to pick it out. It's very awkward. So we're gonna go ahead and get this covered up with our little makeshift boat cover until we're done, and then we'll finally buy a new cover. But that's where we stand with that. And also I wanted to show you guys our new cup holder. So this is our old one. It's still in phenomenal shape. I'm actually thinking about selling it. It's got one little spot right there that bothers me, which is why I actually got a new one. That thing's in really good shape. So our new one is here. There she is. She looks beautiful. So very excited about getting this thing back in. Retrocraft made this for us. I think this is one of the first ones. Carbon fiber with the embroidered Mastercraft logo. Thinking about it now, I wish I would have found a way to make this back glow, because we're going to do non-teak LED RGB cup holders in here. That's why it has no cup holders, but that is our new cup holder. It's going to go in our doghouse, which is why it's in the garage at the moment. We'll deal with that after we get this transmission fixed and back up and running. And it started raining again, so we're going to get this thing covered up before the boat gets soaked. Thanks for watching, guys.